Assalamu alaikum everybody. Hey, I just got home from work not long ago and I thought I'd sit down and talk to you a little bit about something important, and that is love. Everybody's saying love is in the air right now. It's mid-February and I'd say love is in the air all the time, but Hallmark holidays tend to dictate how we look at the world. And that said, I just wanted to take advantage of the times and talk to you a little bit about love. I put on my Instagram story, a question. I'm no love expert by any means, and I'm not a relationship expert, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit with you because we talk about self-love a lot here, and I realize we need to address more than self-love habits and a lot more about just like practicing love in general in a healthy way. So with that said, I put that out on my Instagram story, and alhamdulillah, I got quite a few questions and responses, so I chose a few that were the most common to talk about today in this video. So to begin with, what is love? So different variations of the question included. Let's see. What is your definition of love? What does love mean to you? What does love mean between you and your partner? How does love look like? What does real love look like? Do you think there's one way to define love? Are there different sorts of love? So, to be quite frank, this is the definition in the dictionary for love, and this is what I think. Love isn't simple. And that is to say that I can't give you any one standard definition that would encompass every single type of love, because love is really dependent on the people in that relationship or whatever the case may be, and it'll manifest differently because we are all so different as people. And so love to me is an emotion, a state of being, an action, but there's no one set cookie cutter way for me to tell you what love is supposed to look like. That said, I will say that I have strong beliefs about what builds love and like the pillars of love. And for me in particular, that would be trust, that would be respect, that would be affection, commitment, devotion, and a feeling of safety. And so if you ask anybody else that, it may look different. For them, maybe passion is really important. But for me, I think passion is one of the states and stages within a romantic love, for example, but not the constant. That said, I did get another question that was actually pretty interesting, and it was, is love overplayed? And they put love in quotation marks. And I got that a few times, actually. And I'm going to be really honest and say yes. I think love is overplayed in the sense that the Disney cookie cutter image of love that gets pushed out in K-dramas nowadays and like whatever else type of TV you watch. Yes, I think that type of love is definitely overplayed. I think that it sets up unrealistic expectations, especially in young girls or youth in general. And so, whether that be the Prince Charming trope or the damsel in distress or the girl who is strong and doesn't need a man and then suddenly falls in love, there are these different tropes, and they set up expectations that are super unrealistic for people about love. So I do think that kind of love is overplayed, but I do think love as a general emotive being and state, I guess, is overshadowed. We don't talk about our love for our parents enough. We don't talk about our love for our friends and our family and our culture and ourselves and our romantic partners enough. So I do think that love, on the one hand, is very overplayed, and on the other hand, is also overshadowed. So think about that for a little bit. I'm going to go get some tea, but I'll be right back to talk to you more about love. I have a few other questions that I want to get through before I end the video. BRB. Is so loud. Okay, got my tea. Okay, so ginger turmeric tea is really yummy. So this next set of questions is about external relationships, particularly marriage. A lot of people had questions about marriage, and the very first one was, do I have to wait to get married? And there were a lot of questions around this topic, so I just kind of grouped them together. So do I have to wait to get married? Can I pursue love before college or a career? Does everything have to be in order? And should you always listen to your parents about marriage and what they think is best for you? So I think that's really contextual, all of those things, because everybody's life course is different. And also your family's values, your values and beliefs are different, and your goals are different. So the main thing I want to hit on here is like, have open and honest conversations with your parents when it comes to these big life decisions, because they may expect you to get married by a certain age, or they may expect you to finish school before you get married. But if you talk to them honestly and openly about what your wants, needs, and goals are, then they can better look out for you and be more considerate and thoughtful when they're kind of prompting these sort of decisions or putting out these opportunities in front of you. And then ultimately just trust in Allah. Like, don't compare yourself to the next person. Don't say, oh, because so and so did this first, I should be doing that, or everybody my age is getting married, but why am I not getting married, etc. I think like we can plan, but Allah is the best of planners, so to trust in that. And even when we are planning, to know that, you know, things may not go the way we expect, and things may happen unexpectedly, and that is okay. That said, yeah, there's cultural values implicated in all of those type of conversations. So if you want more around that, like, I don't want to say anything that's gonna totally lead anybody the wrong way. So if you want to talk to me more about that, just hit me up on Instagram, and I'm totally open to that. The next question is, do you think love even exists, or does love even exist before marriage? Do you think real love comes after marriage? So I think that stages of love exist before marriage, like, you know, affection, adoration, maybe passion. But I think real love, this elevated sense of love, a full love, definitely comes after marriage, because when you are married, there's a sense of commitment to one another in which you are more like forgiving. So like, beyond the honeymoon stage of like the passion and the romance, there's also like a companionship that gets built, and so you become more understanding or willing to understand one another, and you are more forgiving to one another, like for your faults and the mistakes that you may make. And so like that sort of relationship, I think, is an elevated sense of love that comes with marriage and the commitment that is in marriage. The next question was, for marriage, should you choose the person for love, or is it more of a business contract / partnership? Marriage in and of itself is a partnership. That hands down is true. So even when you're marrying somebody for love, you have to understand that you have your rights in that relationship, and so do they. They have their rights. And so when you are marrying one another, it's not solely based off of the emotion of love, but the act of love is also like something that feeds into the rights that you have and that you owe to one another. So remembering that the nikah is a contract in and of itself, it's meant to protect each party. So the partnership there, it's supposed to be balanced, and learning what that is to look like, learning what that really means, helps you to have a healthy and balanced, inshallah, relationship. So just look into that a little more. But definitely I do think that there's meant to be love, or the possibility for love when you marry somebody, but it ultimately is a partnership.